Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, let me get my microphone closer to me. We are live for the Beacon TVL show. My name is Chris, head coach, co-founder, Beacon DeFi, director of Happy, and just letting everybody know that we've gone live, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone live on this monumental day here in United States history. Hopefully you did your civic duty and you went out and voted, regardless of the result. If you were for or against, if you bet for or against on Polymarket. Yesterday was a big day. This was a big week. I am now happy to no longer receive mailers. I'm not going to receive, hopefully, any more phone calls, text messages, any of that crap for at least another 2 years when the midterm elections come up. A lot of local things that were very important on the ballot out here in the Midwest as well. Here in the state of Nebraska, they actually found a way to get medical marijuana on the ballot, and it overwhelmingly passed on 2 different things. So congrats to anybody who is looking for that. Of course, they're going to try and challenge that, as they've been trying very hard to keep that off the ballot for the last decade, at least since I've been here. So with that said, we'll go ahead and start with a little bit of news. But before that, I just wanted to kind of gauge how everybody is feeling. I did a little bit something different, and I guess you kind of can't tell now, but I have never had a mustache, and this is Movember. So to all of you who are celebrating Movember, please feel free to send me a picture of your mustache. As a man in his mid 40s, I've never had one. My father has had one for many, many years, but I just didn't think it suited me. But I've been told I should be directing certain types of films with this mustache. So we'll see how long my wife allows me to be me on this planet before I have to shave it off. So I don't know. As long as I have to eat soup, I think I'll be fine, because I'm not really a flavor saver kind of person. But props to everybody who has a thick, luscious mustache. This is like a full 4.5 weeks of not shaving. So I have a very hard time growing it. But you want to know what hasn't had a hard time growing? Let's look at that right now. Oh, look at that. Let me switch my view here. Well, we're back up to 74,669. Peak last night, we had an all-time high. 75,358 is the new all-time high for BTC. Ultimately, it with the election starting to ramp up the way that it did, it was roughly about 9 p.m. Eastern where we started to see that move, those climbs. And as the results started getting, bigger and bigger, I was actually thinking I was going to be waking up to 80K Bitcoin. We did not, but it did bring up the rest of the market with it. Look at all these green boublés, ladies and gentlemen. And can I just move these things? Make them move? Not a single red here on the day so far. Got some big movers. Nero, I don't know if that's the Cabal Nero or the Sol Nero. It's up 33. Uni, my goodness, all of you who left curved Uni, sold, that's fine. It's probably going to drop again. Regardless, up 30%. Aave up 25.8. That's another big mover. We've made a lot of these calls in our mastermind. So Sol up 11%. H-bar up, so is Say. Everything seems to be rebounding, moving forward. Of course, BTC here at 6.6, moving upwards. That's big news. So we're looking at a lot of green here, a lot of what I like to call the Nessie pattern, because it's looking a little bit like a Loch Ness monster, kind of dragon-like now. Flames will start shooting out the nose soon, and we're going to start seeing, look at that huge bump for Solana. Yeah, a lot of news to talk about today. Unfortunately, we had a guest not feeling the best, so hopefully you feel better And we'll have E-Pete on another show soon. With that said, what's the other thing I wanted to talk about here? Yeah, so the other big thing is with, let's see here, yep, Bitcoin ETFs. We have the IBIT, which is BlackRock's, turning in $1 billion in volume in the first 20 minutes of the market opening. So clearly there was some pre-market interest here. Do expect quite a bit of inflows moving forward. For those who didn't feel like it was time to buy, or if you've been steadily DCAing, congrats. I do believe we're going to start seeing some movement upwards. There's a lot of things that have to happen, of course, for that volume, that interest to keep pushing the next legs up. But I think we are definitely on an interesting ride now. I had it actually. There was an article from, I think it's called Deep News or something like that, in the agenda. But then I realized it's an AI generated article, so it probably wasn't true about, possibly Gary Gensler stepping down because he knows of his fate. But with President-elect Trump already having his transition team created like 2-3 weeks ago, we'll see what's going to happen. Ultimately, we want there to be a good move for crypto, at least a path forward, a framework for crypto moving forward, right? That's going to help DeFi. That's going to help a lot of things in this space. So please let me know, what you think. Put it here in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Want to take a second to shout out a wonderful person in our community, that is Keeks. Happy birthday to you, Keeks. Keep thriving, keep fine wining. And that's like, aging like a fine wine as many of us start to keep moving here in life. Inspirational founder in the AVAX ecosystem and many other places. Have a wonderful birthday. And of course, hello to all of my fellow Mambos in the Mambo Makers community. Congrats on the recent mint for Mamboners. So happy to have mine, and hopefully we see some good stuff there. We'll talk more about Avalanche in just a little bit. There's a little bit of news with a little bit of the ecosystem there. So before I continue, please, we've passed the 1,000 member mark. And you know what that means? We got some big things coming. In fact, I'm just going to switch my screen just specifically for this piece. Where's that side by side? No, I want a bigger side by side. There we go. Because we've crossed the 1,000 member mark. And as you can see, my green screen, my taco hat, we got a lot to taco about. Yes. My goodness. Green is not good to me today. Let us figure out why this is blending in the background. My guess is it's because of the lettuce being a little too green. I don't want to break the fourth wall, but we just have invisible lettuce. It is what it is. Maybe I'll Napoleon this. It still looks terrible that way, but regardless. Congratulations, Total Value Locked from Beacon DeFi. We are just over the moon to be over 1,000 members. I've got some things some things that I definitely want to give out. I'm going to be giving out some one-on-one coaching sessions. We'll be giving out some swag packs, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to be in the running for this stuff, it's very simple. I'm not going to give a coaching call to somebody who's not actually in DeFi and deploying. So in order to do that, please join our free group here, and it's free, absolutely free. Skool.com/beacon. Learn from the best in the business here at, now my eyes are all messed up because of the, that's funny. Let me switch back to the correct one. There we go. Skool.com/beacon, absolutely free. Join now the thousands, well, 1,000 plus members who have come to this site since February 20th and are learning about how to safely and securely navigate the seas of decentralized finance, on-chain finance, and all things in between. Join our huge group of action takers. A lot of people are doing really well, and just excited to see a lot of people introducing themselves. This is what I'm going to want you to do. I'll have a post with all this and more, but ultimately come here, check out the introductions, post, introduce yourself to the community, join, of course, it's absolutely free. And then I have this pinned post here with our training from last Friday. I do free trainings every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern in our Beat the Banks program here. Just check it out. Check out the recording. Let me know that you checked it out. Let me know how you thought about it. Get started on our path here under our introduction to DeFi module, and then just go through here. Get started. Get to your first couple positions. They're very straightforward in today's day and age, and let me know how it goes. And once you reach out to me, then I know you're serious, that you definitely need the help. Even if you don't, just try and get through a couple positions, so at least I have something to go off of to help you on your path. We'll choose We'll choose a couple winners at least of this, and we'll of course have some swag packs and stuff. We'll have a post on all of this very soon here on TVL. But I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of everybody at Beacon and Beacon DeFi. Well, it's all the same thing, Beacon DeFi. Thanks for sticking with us. As you know, we've been doing this since 2021. We've helped onboard tens of thousands of people safely and securely into DeFi. It's been my honor and my life's pleasure to be able to help people stay safe and secure and make generational transfers of wealth. And that's really the name of the game. Helping other people, paying it forward, making DeFi accessible to as many people as possible. Also, we're going to have a flyer for the talking points for DeFi at your holiday dinner table for your family. Please make sure that you, once we post that, send it on fire, not send it on fire, but send it out virally so that everybody has a copy, so that if there's anybody who likes crypto, who likes DeFi, but has no idea how to talk about it with their friends and their family, now you'll have this at your family dinner table. Compliments of Beacon DeFi. So excited about that. And yeah, excited to bring you the rest of the news of this week. We will have a guest next week. We have our partners at Alexa AI. They will be here for their first visit onto the show. You'll learn more about their predictive analytics and their AI trading platform. And we're happy to partner with them to bring more of the content that matters to our communities. Okay, let's start off with the news. Well, outside of everything going on, with BTC and the election, we have a new piece of news. A surge of stablecoins that I was talking about, since permissionless. I was given some alpha and I didn't really know what to make of it. The alpha was, and I'll tell you what it was, is that the person who told me this said, look out for Project Guardian. And I was like, Project Guardian? What's that? And I did a little bit of research, and Project Guardian just happens to be something with regards to tokenization and commercializing liquidity here in Singapore. As it was, this is what the MAS is, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, using Project Guardian, an initiative to enhance the efficiency of financial markets through tokenization, real world assets. So we are looking at the beginning of probably a very huge run, at least in this region, of bringing more and more stablecoins and just tokenized assets onto market. So here's the interesting thing about the global dollar, USDG. That was launched as of the 4th, which is 2 days ago. And I have the whole press release. It's all in the show notes if you guys want to check it out. Actually, you know what? I will just link it and just put it here in the chat for you guys. It's going to be long for anybody who's viewing this. On our YouTube, it already two-lined it. Oh, well. I'll just do the tweet. I'll do the tweet. Then you can do that, because I guess it won't make it to Twitter. Twitter doesn't like links, but regardless, if you're watching us from Twitter, hello. So basically, this is going to be a stablecoin from Paxos. Now, Paxos has an interesting history in the stablecoin space. They are partnered, I believe, with PayPal for PYUSD. They're also the major partner of BUSD, which was Binance's stablecoin, BUSD, which pretty much, unfortunately, had to go away. Paxos is very good about releasing proof of reserves, monthly audits, much like their counterparts at Circle, and to some degree now at Tether. But Paxos was always, in that upper tier. So whenever we saw stablecoins from Paxos, we were generally pretty bullish on them because they're going to be transparent. They're going to give you all the information from the agencies that they need to. So for them to come together and create a brand new stablecoin here is interesting because there's 8 members here that are all going to be part of this network. And what's interesting is that Circle and Tether generally, they have large war chests. They make a lot of profit off of this stuff through the interest that comes off of this. The interest made on this token, from what I've been reading, is going to be pushed back to the partners as well as potentially to the participants that are in this network. So, interesting group of people, one of them being Robinhood, the other being Kraken, of course, Galaxy Digital, Bullish, who is the parent company of CoinDesk, and Anchorage. And the thing that's interesting about Anchorage Digital, if you didn't know this, and I didn't know this until actually yesterday, the one thing about tokenized assets right now is that if you are an investor looking to get into tokenized assets, in general, you can't hold it if you're an American citizen. I apologize for my voice cracking. I've been very sick for the last 5 days. But Anchorage has the license to work in all of the 50 states. So you should be able to hold this without any issue. You should. So yeah, big news coming out of that. Again, the full list: Anchorage Digital, Bullish, Galaxy Digital, Kraken, Nuve, and Robinhood. Probably with more partners to come. So yeah, when I was told about Project Guardian, I didn't really know exactly what to think about it. But now that I'm starting to see the pieces come together, we're going to see a lot more of things possibly originating from Singapore coming out into the market. BitGo and BitGlobal making their joint venture. Guess what? One of the jurisdictions is in Singapore. So that's for wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC. I think we're going to see Singapore becoming a little bit more involved in a lot more things and unlocking more crypto. Obviously, the Hong Kong experiment is going well. There are rumors that they're going to start allowing crypto mining back in China again soon. So with everything going on, political landscape, I could definitely see some of these things starting to get ramped back up. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. Another product that came out besides them is actually going to be from Hermetica. Hermetica is an alternative fiat, I guess you call it stablecoin. It's based in the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is very interesting. You can get USDH either at a CEX or on Bitflow or on Velar. Bitflow is probably the better place to get it from because it uses aggregated routes. Not that Velar is bad. Velar is like one of the first perp dexes on layer 1 Bitcoin, accessible from Stacks. So again, it's not on the agenda, but congratulations to Stacks. We talked about this last week, a layer 2 Bitcoin chain now live with their Nakamoto upgrade, that hard fork at block 867867. I've been working on some guides on how to get in there specifically, and it's actually very simple, very straightforward. Just not a whole lot of protocols yet to really take advantage of the new stuff that's happening over there. But Hermetica, kind of in an Athena-like move, they're actually using futures as a delta neutral hedge against the liquidity here. So it's not quite, it has that stable coin kind of peg because of that. So kind of how USDE works, Hermetica is somewhat similar, couple extra wrinkles. But again, we'll have this here in the notes. Another very interesting thing, I'm actually very interested now in BTC-Fi, as if we want to call it that. Not necessarily from the ordinals and runes standpoint, but now from the Stacks, Rootstock, Bob, and Citria, and I guess Core, and a couple of the blockchains coming in with a different way to look about it. Citria, I don't have it in the news either, just closed a $14 million round. And they're doing zero knowledge proofs on Bitcoin layer 1. So yeah, a lot of interesting things coming. So moving on in the news, outside of the stablecoin news, we do have some airdrops happening soon. The first is going to be on Swell. Swell is a liquid staking and restaking entity. You can definitely check out their stuff if you check out anything regarding Eigenlayer. I guess they're having a new Swell L2 as well. The TGE for them happens tomorrow on November 7th. If you have been farming Swell, you can definitely check out this link. It is IP restricted to the US, so make sure that, well, you know the drill at this point. So congrats to everybody who's been farming Swell. Again, more liquid stake, more liquid restaking coming to market. Our next bootcamp, which happens next Saturday, we'll have an announcement on that soon. Will be the focus topic. The focus topic rather will be on liquid stake tokens and liquid restake tokens. And we're gonna have some content in there co-signed through our new collaboration with EtherFi. So thanks to EtherFi for collaborating with Beacon, seeing the value in education, and moving forward with a lot of other good stuff happening soon. So the other thing I have, and it's in the title bar, is about the new agent AI economy. I know I say we're all AI agents now, but with the launch of things on virtuals, we're seeing things with Truth Terminal and all these other things that are just kind of autonomously doing things. Let me pull up virtuals. Yeah, let me pull up virtuals real quick so we can kind of see an example of what some of these look like. And we've talked about virtuals already. Let's see if so we have all of these agents that are happening, right? And they all do different things. There is clearly, there is something happening here. There's even one for Peanut. Rip Peanut. And they all do different things. And you have the ability to, to create an agent as well as invest in agents to do things. Luna has a full stack of things that, and she's a live streaming autonomous agent. I really should not be pushing this, but anyway, there's a function out. Can I just move this? Go. Okay. Anyway, there's tiers here. We're close to the point where Luna, she's been tipping people autonomously with a wallet. But at tier 5, based on everything that's going on, the AI is actually going to just handle the on-chain wallet. No idea what it's going to do. I'll be honest, I haven't really been following this too much, but the fact this has kind of come up over the last 2 weeks, we talked about this last week with Coinbase coming out with a 3-minute way to do this. The agentic web, as it's being called, is starting to definitely rear its head. There's been some good agents and some very interesting and we would even call it inappropriate agents. Because these agents can do multiple things. It's not just about trading. There's a lot of other things that these AI agents can do. One thing we talked about on our calls last week, and before I get to Mr. Diaz's article, we'll talk about David So from Base. Just looking at this list, and we didn't talk about this because this was released last Thursday, I believe. But just the amount of things that are being built with AI agents to manage various functions. I'm not saying you should be scared of this stuff. I mean, they're definitely here to help push a lot of narratives forward. But I mean, this is really pushing a lot of functionality forward. Of course, could there be somebody at the other end remotely controlling this? Yes. But at the same time, it's code. There's the ability based on parameters for them to perform certain functions. And this is where this is what makes the AI and crypto intersection very interesting. We already had JD Seraphin, sorry JD, from Rainmaker on a couple weeks ago, right? That was just before permissionless, where you can help train AI models and earn rewards for that in a little bit of a deep in perspective. Some of these others, like Aperture, is looking to do intents that are powered by AI for solving trades, I believe is what their network is going to be doing. And, this is a very generic list, But there you can just kind of appreciate how many projects, and again, this was just last week. This list has probably doubled already with regards to the type of AI agency that's going to be allowed in DeFi and that things are going to happen. I find this all very fascinating. And a couple of new things that I've found. CoinTelegraph came out with an article specifically on this, just kind of talking about, and this is Luna right here, but specifically about lessons they've already learned within the first week and how you can avoid them. I definitely recommend you follow this if you're going to be using virtuals, and figuring out how you can also, not make the same mistakes. The other thing here is from Markokraemer. Found this recently. If you blog, you know about WordPress. If you want to make AI agents, now we have AgentPress. And again, this is for building blocks for AI agents, not a framework, just building blocks. But you can lead to things with this. Why? Because the first use case he has here is how to build an AI web developer with a simple plug and play utility. This is all based in Python, if I'm not mistaken. So if you know Python, yeah, Python because of PIP, then pretty easy to get into. But the fact that it's LLM agnostic to state management and there's automated tool execution, this is all very interesting. This could lead to more interesting things. It's not going to put people out of jobs, right? Because you still have creative skill and things that have to be done. The majority of websites now, I think, are built on Webflow, if I'm not mistaken. Lots changed since the last time I built a website personally. There's a lot more no code, a lot more drag and drop, and this is more of a complement to that type of thing, right? So how does this help you in crypto? Well, it could help build more tooling for you by creating a web interface. There's a lot of different tools in DeFi that have an API for web development access, whether it be data, variety of things, right? So the ability to have an AI agent just build you a quick and dirty web prototype to test things, to help you with things, I think is actually pretty good. Especially if we're talking about the one thing that people talk to me about all the time, which is a web-based dashboard. To me, you could probably build one yourself with an AI agent like this pretty quickly, as long as you have the data and the ability to scrape it. That is chain agnostic. So, 1 second. Ooh, pardon me. So yes, a lot of things happening. Again, it's only been 2 weeks since most of this has come out. The last thing I'll talk about through ELI5, which is Explain Like I'm 5 DeFi. Thank you for this thread. Again, like I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, this has been creating, in my opinion, a very huge buzz. And as you can see, 60 hours of digging, these are all the different projects that you should be looking at. What's interesting is that there's already an infographic with different parts of the ecosystem already. Last week when we talked about this, we were talking about virtuals, we were talking about Ethernet from higher network, and a couple others. But now we have easily 4 times that, because virtuals is right there. Trying to see where. Oh, well, we've had Morpheus before because they power Venice.ai. And some of these are probably some different tooling that's been around for a little bit. Payman for payments, I believe is what that is. So that's going to be interesting. What is Sender doing? Because that's a near project. Interesting. There's a lot more happening. I've heard some things about Crush, Chasm, and Griffin this week. ASI, which is Fetch, and then the other 2 major AI groups that merged into one company, they're a part of this. And then the last thing we'll talk about here is an article from Mr.Diaz on unleashing the on-chain agent economy. And again, I'll put this. This will all be in the show notes. But if you're interested in this, and the reason why I'm just sharing this to educate you all is really just the amount of tooling that's been developed in the last 2 weeks that probably has been going on for the last several months. Again, this puts DeFi into a new space that was not there 6 months ago. So when people talk about how fast does DeFi move, it moves a lot faster now than it ever did 2 years ago. So keep that in mind. And of course, we're still very early. This is all going to be, very experimental. stuff like that, right? Yeah, we can talk about Truth Terminal's story. It's really it's interesting just behind the idea of how it came about. And actually, it might be here. Yeah, it's in one of these articles that I have here that I'm talking about today. So actually it's in the CoinTelegraph one. Yeah. So basically the idea is that, Terminal of Truth or Truth Terminal is just an AI bot that just started to tweet things. And then they created something. AI16Z was something else, I think, separately. But Mark Andreessen from A16Z, huge venture capitalist, saw it and started to shill it. And then it started catching fire. Yeah. And basically, I believe it was originally a pump.fun token that then, caught some fire. Truth Terminal started talking about it. And then, because it's an autonomous bot. And there you go. Sometimes the most interesting memes come from interesting beginnings, as they all do, right? So, but yeah, GOAT has been making huge moves, and congrats to anybody who got into GOAT early. These are all like winning the lottery, right? So you can never guess how well these things are going to do. It's always a crapshoot. I've seen plenty of, oh man, the amount of people that have lost some money on meme coins over the last 24 hours is pretty nuts. Poly market notwithstanding. So we're in a new age where there's going to be some very big AI tooling here to help us find new innovations, whether that's going to be at the trading level, whether that's going to be at a content creation level or content consumption level or something like that. Even having, some sort of bot, if you give it the correct parameters to help rebalance and manage your positions for you. These are all things that are on the table with the agentic web. So interesting idea, right? If you don't have a ton of time or you want to spend more time doing other things and leave your a part of your portfolio, no, don't give it the whole portfolio, a little bit of portfolio to an AI agent to see how it works out. We're going to see a lot of stories about this, and it's going to catch a little bit of fire. So keep your eye out. Well, if we can put together a guide on how to easily do that, we'll put a guide out. And yeah, so yeah, a lot of AI agent stuff happening now. You can of course start your own AI agent pretty easily. Bankless has a great article to do it in less than 3 minutes, from Ryan Sean Adams. So you just have to have a couple tools. And if you have the know-how or know somebody who has the know-how, they can help you create something. And it's becoming easier than ever to create all types of apps and platforms and things like that. So yeah, end of this year is going to be wild. I mean, it's already been a wild year. I mean, it's hard to believe it's already November 6th. So with that said, we'll go ahead and move on. And we'll move on to something else. So the former they're not called Trader Joe anymore. That they're now called LFJ. So if I pull up their website, LFJ, that's LFG, LFJ.gg. This is the old, as you can see, the gentleman with the beard, that's the old Trader Joe. It's now called Let's Effing Joe. Of course, I'm not going to say the full F word here on the show today. Multiple blockchains that actually, right, Avalanche and Aerodrome, because if it's on Mantle, it's Merchant Mo. When we talked about this story, 18 months ago, where there's a cease and desist given to Trader Joe because the grocery store chain owned by Aldi, Trader Joe's, felt that Trader Joe on AVAX was starting to, and Arbitrum was starting to, taint their image, that type of thing. There's like a confusion of some sort. If you felt confused by that, let me know, because I never felt that. I never felt that confusion. In fact, most people it was always what's a Trader Joe on chain, or what's Trader Joe the grocery store? I don't think most people knew about the other, unless you're in the US, then you knew about both. But So they've had a couple of big products that have come out of TJ. We'll just call it TJ or LFJ. The first was the liquidity book, which was their take on concentrated liquidity. It's actually a little bit, it's quite a bit different than Uniswap's model for concentrated liquidity, right? Because they have the idea of having dynamic price bins, where you can actually have wider price bins, different types of liquidity patterns. It's all very interesting, right? So for a lot of people I know that were in TradFi, that are equity traders, they actually liked using Trader Joe because the ability to have a more custom look on how you trade your tokens in DeFi on chain is usable by this. There's another project on Solana that's very similar to this system, and that's at Meteora. They have a very similar concentrated liquidity system that's very similar, in my opinion, to Liquidity Book. Well, they have a new project called Token Mill. All that we really know about Token Mill is that tomorrow is going to be a live stream on both their Twitter and their YouTube at noon UTC. So if you're on the East Coast, that's going to be like 7 in the morning. Most of the team for LFJ, I believe, is in Asia and Europe. So at least their marketing department's mostly in Europe and Asia. So basically, it's going to be some type of community flywheel platform. The part that's interesting, because Merchant Mo is on Mantle for now. There might be a couple places that's moving to, if I'm not mistaken. But they're going to be releasing Token Mill on Solana initially. And also, as you can see here, Viibe, who's his profile, he's actually part of Monad, the parallel EVM L1. Initially, it will just be on Solana. So if it actually comes to AVAX at some point, that would be interesting. But they're creating this community flywheel program, which kind of sounds pump.fun like, to be honest, because they have custom bonding curves. Yeah, no fees when creating and launching tokens, revenue share from all buy transactions, compatible with all DeFi tools, and let's see. Yeah, custom bonding curves. So that's the other part too, because all of that's all pretty much set in stone and copied from pump.fun to everything else. But I'm assuming that graduation on some of these tokens, if they make it that far, will be on LFJ, on Solana. So that also means the DEX should be moving to Solana as well. Now, a lot of AVAX people, AVAX friendly people, AVAX supporters are a bit upset about this, right? Because Trader Joe started on AVAX, and I get it. But Trader Joe has grown as a brand, right? They moved from AVAX to Aerodrome because Aerodrome just got way more TVL. And a variety of other things. That's why they moved to Mantle with Merchant Mo for a sex chain, a CEX chain relationship, right? There's all that there. The one thing about Solana, and this might be a hot take for some people, I honestly don't think there's a lot of strong DeFi brands on Solana. There's a lot of NFTs. There's a lot of cultural things that are there. But when it comes to pure DeFi products, there's not a whole lot of there. The ones that do kind of have a little bit of a checkered past, right? Like Solend, which is now Save. Mango Markets got, they got exploited pretty badly by Avi Eisenberg. Some interesting launches, like MarginFi had a little bit of a botched launch with how they handled their airdrops and all this type of stuff. It's hard to really count how many protocols here in the 172 that are available. And this is on Defillama, by the way. I mean, looking at the number of protocols, 172, I could probably name 24 protocols that are DeFi, that are pure DeFi on Solana, because obviously Sunny and Saber, probably some bad names to talk about these days with everything that happened with the Makalinon brothers moving to Aptos and everything else. I'm not saying that to disparage anybody. Please don't come after me. But in my opinion, there's just not a lot of strong brands left. Yeah, there's still things like there's still Francium there. There's still Tulip, Port, a couple other brands from before that are still there. Obviously, you have Orca and stuff like that. But outside of what's out there, obviously Jupiter, Meteora, that type of stuff, that's all coming, but we need more strong brands. No secret that GMX is trying to launch a Solana offshoot through the community on Solana. But 172 here, I mean, I can't name that many brands that are actually on Solana DeFi. I mean, obviously we have hundreds on Ethereum, BSC, Base, Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, Optimism. Even Blast has way more active DeFi projects than them. Solana's one of the biggest blockchains on the planet. They just need more DeFi, and they're going to need it because they're going to start doing big things to bring more people onto Solana in 2025. You've got the whole things with Solana Mobile, with Jupiter and Jupiter Mobile. You have things with Save, Drift, Camino, like I already mentioned, HawkFi, Meteora, Orca, Radium, and many others, right? There's going to be a lot of things popping up and gaining TVL and Solana. So I do think this is a good measured move by LFJ now, because they've got the tech, they've got the supporters, and they've got some things I think will hopefully make some waves. We definitely need more brands of DeFi on Solana. So good luck to LFJ. And, to Susan's point, it's a lot of people go and they just come back, right? Because so let's be honest. I mean, what are the main things that we look at when we're talking in our communities about Solana? We're talking about Jupiter, right? Jupiter, Meteora. And then you can go to Camino, you can go to Drift, but Drift doesn't even host their vaults. It's on Circuit. They have perp deck stuff. That's fine. Zeta Market's another one that's up and coming. But most things on if you think of Solana, you think of NFTs. You think of meme coins like Pump.Fun. You think of GambleFi, stuff like, stuff that probably doesn't have the most shine to people who are serious about their investing in DeFi. But that doesn't mean that can't be true on Solana. So I do hope that, more DeFi brands emerge on Solana. We need some better money markets. We need some better market making protocols. A lot of the protocols I just mentioned, they're fantastic. And I've been talking to all of them in the DMs about, what we can do to enrich the onboarding experience on the Solana. So with that said, hopefully they do pretty well. And yeah, like I mentioned, if you're interested in this, you can check out their town hall tomorrow at 12 p.m. GMT, which I believe is the same as UTC, which at this point would be 7 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, hopefully they do have it recorded. I probably won't be able to listen to it live, but I will say, speaking of them, and I'm just putting this out here to anybody who might be interested, Merchant Mo, they are having a PFP NFT launch for Beardy Mo's. Full transparency, I do have an allow list for this. As you all know, I do have a problem with buying some NFT PFPs and never selling them. So let's work on getting that floor raising, eh? But I will say that as much as I like NFTs, because I like it for the art, I like it sometimes for utility, just remember that NFTs are a high risk asset. They are illiquid, right? Their only found value is finding someone to actually buy it from you if you list it. Outside of that, you're just holding a picture. I'm not trying to be too harsh with that take, but it's an illiquid asset, right? It's no different than having a really cool mint condition baseball card. It's only as valuable as the person who's willing to buy it from you at a value that you specify, right? But NFTs can be lucrative, right? Looking at even things like BTC punks on ordinals. People were paying between 2 and 8 BTC for a crypto punk. That, obviously wasn't the original, but ultimately there was a collection of them that was etched into metadata on, existing Satoshis in the BTC ecosystem, which is metadata. It can be wiped at any time if they really wanted to. But we do like ourselves a good speculation, don't we? Anyway, tomorrow, they did mention today, but that's for early allow listers. So public isn't until evening tomorrow. There's only 2,000 of these things, so I doubt that they're going to be making it to public, but you never know. People might forget. So if you're interested, it'll be on Mantle, on Lutex. I believe you'll need to be spending either USDC or Mantle token, MNT, for that. With that said, we'll go and move on to the last topic before we get over to the call for help. We're going to have call for help this week. So MakerDAO, back in August, made the jump to now be called Sky Money, right? Then suddenly people are like, we kind of want to go back to MakerDAO. And I'm like, people, you voted. I mean, I guess you can always go back and just keep voting for this, but anyway. So Rune Christensen, the founder, said that, I think he just said that, so the poll, which is not binding. Okay. It's about recentering the Maker brand and dropping the new Sky moniker. I mean, I like the energy of Sky. It's very colorful. I like the font. Granted, I can't use it because of geo-blocking. Everything resembling the US and all major VPN IPs. I'm not butthurt about this, I promise. But yeah, so looking at the vote, because I was curious, based on how much time is left, 21 hours left. I mean, it's just one of those things like, did you really have to hold it? I mean, yeah, I guess you have to hold a vote because it's DAO operations and governance, but could there have been maybe a couple, initial polls before dragging through all this and getting all this hoopla going about it? Yeah, fickleness is common. But there you go. And I can see this. Recenter the Maker brand with a limited brand refresh. I mean, I'm all for that. If you just want to have like a brand refresh where you're just temporarily something for a little bit, but you're really still, Sky, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, if they were, looking to do like a merch drop or something like that for, a month so that you can get your limited edition, Maker stuff is more of like a vintage kind of thing. That'd be kind of interesting. But anyway, again, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is just because essentially this is part of how governance works. I would definitely recommend, if you are holding the governance token for a protocol, please do your part. Vote. Yes, there is a high value in holding the governance token, but that comes with a high responsibility. Of course, you can just hold it and not vote, but you're kind of going against the spirit of why you're holding the token in the first place. Not because it's worth a lot of money, but because it gives you the power to help shape your favorite protocol, or protocols you are invested in. Whether you like it or not, if you buy a token in a protocol, you're invested in that protocol. Do what you need to do to help decide the future. Because really, you're like an advisor. I mean, everyone wants to be like a board member, right? Like an advisor. That's kind of cool. So yeah, if this is your first time and you're new to DeFi, governance is actually a very important part of the majority of these protocols that utilize them. Now, we've seen some instances where sometimes they don't necessarily listen to the DAO, like the Uniswap situation with Unichain. But, obviously two different entities, but at the same time, the spirit is there. Do your part. Let me come back to just me for a little bit while I load up the next screen. We'll move over to call for help. And what is call for help? We haven't actually had call for help all that often, just because we normally have guests and full panels, and we do a lot of talking. But today, we're going to talk about a couple of things that are really good questions. Let me see if I can get to Velar without needing a VPN. Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. And again, before I do that, we do get a lot of our questions from here at TVL. So if you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, here and call for help, please list it here. And if it's a question that's here, whether you do it through help and support or just general discussion, if it's one that I think definitely needs to be answered in a public forum, I'll go ahead and do that here on call for help. And again, we're here to answer your guys' questions to help give you better understanding and help educate the public, of course, with regards to questions you have about DeFi. So question number one, and again, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to know every time we go live every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on the TVL show. The question's from Teresa. Which is better for me, concentrate liquidity or getting more yields in BTC? Are they different or is one better than the other? This is a great question. Ultimately, this is I can look at this two ways. If I look at this from the actual BTC, like in the BTC ecosystem way, there's only two real ways to make decent, or maybe three, to make decent yields. The first is to go to a site kind of like Velar. Velar is a Stacks L2 protocol. They say they're the first perp DEX on Bitcoin layer 1. Technicalities. But you can connect there using some type of Stacks L2 wallet that's compatible, like Lether. We recommend Xverse, Asina, OKX, but US people can't really use OKX, and there's also Orange Wallet. We like Xverse so far. And you can do staking within the wallet on Xverse. So that's one thing too. The rates on the majority of those are not stellar. So if you're fine with putting some of your your stacks to work that way, again, not with SBTC, which is their pegged version of Bitcoin that hasn't come yet, so you're gonna have to wait for that. But if you're fine moving some different types of funds or converting some of your BTC to some of these funds, ultimately this is the, let's see, APR. Do I have an APR here? No APR here. That's on pool. Sorry, let me go to farm. None of them are on BTC, right? These are all different derivatives. Now this is USDH, which is Hermetica, and AE USDC, which is Albridge wrapped Ethereum USDC. So sick. Oh, look at that rate. Well, there's that. That's interesting. But with regards to BTC, unfortunately, we're still in a stage where we're very early with BTC5, meaning you're not actually using your actual native BTC. You're using a derivative of it. Depending on which one you go with, like with Stacks, which you can bridge over, Rootstock has a bridge and a gateway you can use, and they're an EVM layer 2. I will say that the fees on Rootstock so far have been pretty high, and the chain's been a little on the slow side. It's a different architecture, so I'm not going to really slight them on that. But your best bet, if you have it in cold storage, is probably to take some of it, of course not all of it, take a little bit of your BTC, bring it to Coinbase, and then withdraw it to Base, where it'll automatically be turned into CBBTC. And you have a couple options at this point. You could do Beefy, our wonderful friends. One second. Pardon me. And let me do CBBTC. And when you do this, so if you do concentrated liquidity, when you actually withdraw BTC down to Base through Coinbase, it automatically converts it from BTC to the Coinbase wrapped CBBTC. So you can see the rates on this are pretty decent. I would not use the USDZ version. I would use either the ETH version of CBBTC and ETH or CBBTC and USDC. There's going to be a lot more volatility if you go with the CBBTC USDC version. The CBBTC ETH is sitting at around 15.3, I expect this to definitely, this thing has been as high as 220% on Beefy. If you go with the pool, that means you can actually claim Aero tokens that come back because it's all part of Beefy's share of the pool in terms of wow, they have 632,000. Oh, I'm sorry, 40,000 in TVL. No idea how much that is in Aero, because they actually have to stake the Aero, obviously, to get that out there. My assumption. The vault is just auto compounding those rewards. So you definitely want to get, it depends. If you want to have the Aero tokens to keep with you, use the pool. If you don't care, use the vault. Of course, that means you can also just go to Aerodrome. Let's go to the actual pool. Are they going to give me the actual pool? I don't think so. That's fine. And if I just look at just volume, it's already here towards the top. I mean, it gets 693. Ugh, it's such a large amount of volume. All those fees, 588%. Again, to get this, you do have to have Aerodrome Aero token staked to get even close to a sniff of this, because all fees from these pools go to Aero stakers first, which means you have to lock it for 4 years to get the full amount. But yeah, so the safe yield, if you just want to stake BTC like in Babylon or some of these other places, if you want full native BTC staking, you'll have to use something like Babylon. It'll be a quite passive experience. And it's going to be way lower than, like, because Beefy, showed 15, Aerodrome 3-figure. These are going to be in the single digits. So ultimately, the more rate you want, the higher rate you want, the further out on the risk curve you have to go. That's a basic saying that we say all the time. But the best thing to do is just take a little bit, test it out yourself. Obviously, don't ever put your entire BTC Fi is still way too young. I would not advise anybody. And I guess none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. Just start with a little bit, because it's still way too young to put all of your BTC in any of this. Because, with regards, and this is what I mentioned to somebody, on a call, when you withdraw your BTC to Coinbase and it automatically converts to CBBTC, you can redeem that CBBTC 1-to-1 when you go back to Coinbase, but you're still spending your BTC. Do not confuse that with the fact that it's CBBTC. So keep that in mind. If you actually start losing some CBBTC due to impermanent loss and stuff like that, you're losing CBBTC. When you go to redeem it, it'll be whatever that is back in WBTC. Obviously, if you make gains, then you're happy as a pig in mud. But you may not necessarily get that. So keep that in mind. You're actually playing with your BTC. It's just in a more composable form that you can now use in DeFi protocols to participate. Because that's the biggest issue with BTC and DeFi right now, is that it's hard to find good, composable, reliable, fungible assets that represent BTC that you can actually use in DeFi, because you can't use it natively, because BTC is its own token standard, and it's not an ERC20 token, for example. But there are multiple really good versions of that are out there that are available for you. Yes. The other one is, and thank you for that question, Teresa. The other question we'll cover here is, how can I use the knowledge that you deployed to grow my portfolio? And that's a great question. It's from Darwin. And the question can be easily answered by just coming here to Introduction to DeFi here at our Total Value Lock site, because we tell you all about having an all-weather portfolio and our 40-40-20 DeFi portfolio system. So again, check that out. You should be good. You should be up and running. And then let me know about it. Put you in the running to get a free one-on-one coaching call from me. And that's the news for the week, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to check us out. Again, we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on both our YouTube and it's live streamed to our Twitter handle as well. We also have side audiences on our Facebook as well as our Twitch. So hello to all of you out there. And yeah, what an eventful week. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of the anti-crypto stance in our nation. That's really about the only thing that I'm really very curious about moving forward, right? There's a lot of things that have been promised that we'll need to definitely see more of, to definitely get more of that up and running. So yeah, join our group, check out our offerings, and we'll face all of this together, and excited to see where we go from here. So with that said, take care, everybody. 07, we'll see you, well, if you're in our group, I'll see you on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern for Beat the Banks for our free call. Otherwise, see you guys later. Beacons up, banks down. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Get yourself a taco hat. Then we can talk about it.